Hey, Fee, how you doing? Beautiful. Girl, I'm at a campground. Actually, it's another park I stumbled upon. I was on my way to another area, another park, a national park, I think it is. And I Googled it, and this park came up. So, and it was only like 6 miles from where I was. So I'm like, well, let me just go there. And it was only $5 to get in. And stopped, got something to eat. I was going to cook on my stovetop, but it was just easier for me to just eat a salad and head over here before it gets too late. So this is where I am. I am here at a nice park, and this is a campground right here. I wasn't expecting that, but I don't know. Who knows? I might stay here for tonight. Now, I've been camping before years ago, but I stayed in a trailer. I didn't like stay in a camp, I mean, in a tent or anything. But there are tents. There's one right here and one across the road. Yeah, but it's a nice park. And then later, y'all might want to walk with me. I'm gonna walk up to the lake. It's up the street. Yeah, so just chilling. I need a knife. I think I have. Oh, hold on one second. I have to get my knife. Hello, hello, hello. One second. Turn around. I want y'all to see my short shorts. Here we go. I'm back. I'm wearing this hat. Woo! I got a scarf on under this, but this sun is blaring. So yeah, just felt like hanging out with somebody. So I've been by myself the whole weekend. So I said, let me go on here and see how my people are doing. Y'all doing all right today? How's your Sunday going? Ooh, this olive is so salty. Y'all doing all right? Shorts. These shorts are short. You love olives? Oh, okay. They're all right. They just so salty to me. I don't really like salty stuff, but I like seasoned stuff, so that's why I put like the olives in my salad because it kind of seasons it, seasons the salad or whatever. But I don't know. Mm, I kind of created this salad myself. It has ginger mushrooms, I think sesame seeds in it, Might be some soy sauce too. I don't know. I cut up some. I already had some red peppers, so I cut up some extra red peppers and bell peppers, green bell peppers. I got some green peas and chickpeas in here, and broccoli. I got some beets. I only eat beets because they're good for you. Cauliflower, spinach, arugula, um, and romaine, onions, and I got these peppers here. I forget what they're called. They're good. But I've been doing a whole lot of thinking. As Tony says, I've been thinking, 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 thinking. I don't know if y'all remember that song. It was on that was it on the anniversary album? There's a whole bunch of ants over here. But anyway, yeah. I used to love that song. um Drinking kombucha. It's kind of gets your pH balance. I think. I know it's good for the gut. It's a probiotic. I would imagine it gets your pH balance in check. Your pH levels in check, I should say. But this is raspberry hibiscus, and hibiscus is very good for you. So is raspberry. So I messed around and had some. I had a frosty from Wendy's. Excuse me. Pepper went up my nose. I had a frosty from Wendy's last night. I just couldn't resist it. A chocolate frosty. And in my mind, I'm thinking the kombucha will get my gut back straight after having that ice cream. Yep. But just been thinking about a lot of stuff. Getting emotional as I think about things, how I got here, where I am, and appreciating the journey. But I realized there were some things I needed to face. I needed to face the music because I was just stuffing it or just like brushing it off like no big deal because I don't want I'm thinking I don't want to give the situation more power than than I have. See what I'm saying? So my way of coping was to just blow it off like it's no big deal. I knew I was affected, but I try not to think about everything that's happened in the last, at least year of my life since making some, uh-oh, these flies are getting crazy. Whew. Especially since making some changes in my life, you know? And I'm sure a lot of you are facing the same thing. But I'm also trying to enjoy my life and just really pursue some things that I was more or less told were selfish pursuits. While I want to help people, I do. That's in my blood. It just runs in my system, all through my system, to help people. Right? It's who I am, and I think about other people all day, every day. But I'm a person, right? And my needs are important as well. And a lot of the things I want to help other people with are things I need help with. So I've just been focusing on myself, really getting to the healing part, you know, because when you become aware and you're awakened to a life that you've lived was not necessarily truthful, unbeknownst to you, it's devastating. It's traumatic. And how I brush that off is amazing. I really didn't go through all of the emotions and even depression that a lot of you may have gone through because I was so focused on once I found out that the life I was living really wasn't 100 really wasn't 100% authentic. It's not 100% true, and a lot of falsehoods and basically a violation of my human right. You know what I mean? Just following the edict, the policies of the organization has limited me for so many years, right? I figured, look, rather than wallow in my sorrows about that, just get into doing what I want to do. That's what I was trying to do. I was just doing me. So I didn't I didn't focus on I didn't focus a whole lot on all the things that I missed out on, right? They say that you don't miss what you never had, but when you've had it and religion sort of tells you you don't need it and you shouldn't pursue it, rather you should pursue a life of serving others and not yourself. um, you change because you know you get in line, you change accordingly, you conform to what is expected of you from God. You're thinking that this is all coming from God through these imperfect men. So my whole perception of what life was supposed to be like for me flipped because I wasn't always a Jehovah's Witness. I was not born in. I mean, yeah, I started studying at a young age, but I still, was influenced by the world outside of that system, that religious system. So I did miss things that I enjoyed doing before studying with Jehovah's Witnesses. And even years after starting to study with Jehovah's Witness, they really influence your mind to the point where you you surrender. And that's what I did. So I've been thinking about that. This salad is decent. Let me put some crushed black pepper in here though. They had pasta on an antipasta deli bar. Oh, okay. I don't know who's on. So I appreciate you hanging out with me. So I don't feel like I'm talking to myself. Oh, I knew I was missing something. I like I got fresh jalapenos in here, but I like these crispy jalapenos. I like putting this in my salad. You can put it on a like tortilla too. It says salads, burgers, roasted potatoes, and I got some fried onions. Sometimes I eat these like I'm eating chips or something. I know this is not the most healthiest salad, but there's a lot of things that I forego. So that's that guy's tent. Why is he over there? Hold on one second, y'all. I'm being nosy. The guy went down to the lake. Somebody's looking into his tent. Mm. I guess it's kind of rude to eat in your face. I'm sorry. Mm, I'm a little hungry. Did buy a bagel. To be honest, I don't think I'm supposed to be over here. I paid to get in the park, but I didn't pay for a campground, a campsite. I'll just move if somebody comes. Hello, hello, hello. But yeah, I've just been thinking a lot, contemplating about life and how my next chapter is gonna play out. Hello. I was reading up on the ego, how there's different levels of the ego. We can't really live without having an ego. If you didn't have an ego, you would just be a robot, automaton, or however you say that, automaton or whatever. You wouldn't make any decisions if you didn't have an ego. You would just barely go through life just allowing others to influence your thinking and determine who you are, what you're supposed to be doing, when you're supposed to do it. Come to think of it, that described me as an adult, Jehovah's Witness, pretty much influenced by what man said I was supposed to do, what I should be doing. Yeah, pretty much. And while I felt like I had a backbone and my voice naturally sounded different from everybody else's, you are made to feel guilty about being different because everybody's supposed to be in unison, like robots. Pretty much say the same things, you think the same things, you feel the same thing, right? That's what we are, in my opinion, almost like robots. We carried out the commands of our master, which were 8 men now in Warwick, New York. And we weren't even aware of it. In fact, we were so blind by the quote unquote truth, we thought everybody else in the world were doomed and were missing out on a wonderful life. We thought that. I thought that, didn't you? If you're Jehovah's Witness, I don't know if this is fee. Um, and so yeah, I put all my goals and desires, I put them away. And I did what I thought God would be proud of me for doing. Gave up good paying jobs to pursue pioneering, basically chose or took a vow of poverty, basically, when you become a pioneer. But I guess I didn't have time to really focus on what I gave up because now I have this new freedom new freedom allowed me to start looking at some of the things that I gave up for the religion, for the ministry, for the preaching work. And it's been a journey. It's been quite a journey. So much so that the light went off for me in many areas of my life. And I'm thankful for that, to be honest, because now I'm really exploring life, not being afraid to live, not feeling guilty about living. Heavy weight now lifted off my shoulders, off my chest. Well, I'm not feeling blood guilty for not going out every Saturday or Sunday or during the week. I don't have to worry about any of that anymore. And I don't feel guilty about it. Why would I feel guilty about it when nothing but half truths are being taught, you know? And the lie that it's selfish to pursue personal dreams. That's crazy. Being made to feel like you're criminally minded because you wanted to pursue a higher education to better yourself, to get a better job. I guess that's why I didn't really want to ponder over that stuff, because when you really think about it, it's really sad. Living under that religious regime was very oppressive. Some people are comfortable with living under systems because they think that it's a protection. Certain governments, especially like socialistic governments, where everything is provided for you, you don't necessarily make your own decisions. Government plays a big role in your life, and that's why some people are not fond of any other government other than a democratic. But I'm here to tell you that even so-called theocratic systems basically rule with an iron fist. And they, in fact, do rule. They have a dominion. The subjects are the rank and file. But it's not the government that we were taught it was. It's the inflated self proclaim proclaiming of individuals who think that they were entrusted with this super superpower, if you will. That they get to use and wield over unsuspecting human beings. It's sad. That was a very, very good salad. I'm very proud of myself. I really put that together very nicely. And I put some balsamic vinegar and olive oil in there. And I added some thyme, lemon, and Himalayan salt or sea salt. Yeah, sea salt. And it was good. It's very good. Oh, that got hot. I am so glad I'm out here. I should have put on some screen put sunscreen because black people can get sunburned. I have. I remember the first time I was sunburned was in Cancun, Mexico. I didn't even know what happened. I didn't know what happened. All I know, when I was leaving, we were heading back to the States, and I'm heading to the airport, and I had my a duffel bag on my shoulder, and I kept feeling this discomfort, like it was like burning. And I'm like, what's wrong with my arm? I had no idea. I didn't know. I had no idea. To be honest with you, I went to, for the first time, I went to Mexico back in '99. I had just been reinstated, or right before that. Yeah, I think it was either right before I was reinstated or right afterwards. But yeah, it was afterwards. Yeah, it was afterwards. I went to, cause my sister joined me. So yeah, it was afterwards. Um, went to Cancun, came home. I still didn't know what was wrong with my arm until it started peeling. And then that's when it dawned on me, like, oh shoot, I've been sunburned. I don't recall ever being sunburned, so I didn't know what you know, what the symptoms were, you know. But I'm here at this nature park in Southwest Georgia. It's so peaceful. I'm in a on a camp slot or plot, and I don't think I'm supposed to be here, so I might be asked to move if no one comes in. But it's cool. It's for pop-ups and for actual tents. Excuse me for spitting that peppercorn out. It's a nice day. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. I look sleepy. I do. I look sleepy. But yeah, I was like really thinking about this ego situation and the different levels of ego. In one way, it's bad, and another way, it's not bad. It's a good thing because ego helps us express who we are, right? Who we think we are, at least. And you're not influenced or controlled by man. It gives you the opportunity to express autonomy, right? And free moral agency. That's what ego sort of allows you to express. But in some cases, ego can be dangerous. It could be detrimental to society. It could definitely could be detrimental to the community In relationships, it could be very toxic. Religion, ego is a big factor in religion. Um, the ego is what keeps control over people, you know. And unfortunately, many of us were controlled, whether knowingly or unknowingly, by 8 men. We really were, for the most part, and we're now having to reconfigure, recreate ourselves because we're no longer subjecting ourselves to that sort of dominance, that sort of control, and that manipulation, right? We're no longer allowing ourselves to be subjected to narcissism because that's what it is, right? And ego was a huge factor in our lives, although it wasn't on that end of the spectrum. Our ego, being part of this religion, especially as adults, right, where we allow men to influence our thinking and our decisions our entire lives, that was very unhealthy. It was very, let me take this hat off. It kind of blocks the sun though. I don't know who just came on, but I am at a nature park. I'm actually still in Georgia. I was heading to Alabama to Tallapoosa. I guess that's a national park, I think. But anyway, I discovered this park, and it has campgrounds. So I may I don't know, I may just stay here tonight. Who knows? In my van. That's in my van. Look at Quarry over there. Look at that girl. She's a little dirty, a little dusty, but that's her. That's Quarry. We've been hanging out for the whole past few days. We've just been taking our time, strolling, and yesterday we hung out at a little small quaint community garden center where they just had plants and such. No food, no food or anything like that. But anyway, yeah. So it was so nice and peaceful. I was like in pure bliss, and yeah, I had a nice time all by my lonesome, and I'm here by myself. Yeah, lately I've just been by myself a lot, but it's just given me a lot of time to reflect on my life and see the changes that I need to make in order to maintain this or um yeah, maintain this level of happiness that I feel I have, being free to just be me, right? And not have to worry about stumbling anybody, all that foolishness. Um, I see God in a different way. I really do. I still revere God, but I see him much different than how I saw him as an active Jehovah's Witness. I think that was more fear based. Even though I feel like I still loved God, I really, really did. I loved him because I made a lot of sacrifices for God, not for the religion. And I remember as a pioneer and going to those meetings, I really did feel privileged, and serving where the need was great and seldom worked territory. I felt like I was really making my Heavenly Father proud, right? And I felt good about that. I really felt good about myself, the sacrifices that I was making, trying to find righteously disposed individuals, right? It was exciting in many ways. But there were some undercurrents. There were some other things going on within me that I felt was unfair that I had to let go of when they were very innocent desires, right? And to now be at that point in my life where can welcome I can welcome that and embrace this birthright that I have, exercising free will and actually using the gift that the Almighty, that the Creator gave me, right? It's just, see, I gotta put my hat back on. I know I got this scarf, but kind of breaks the sun a little bit. Let's see, kind of not breaks it, but imagine that breaking the sun. Kind of acts as somewhat of a sun blocker. I know this hat is looking ridiculous. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. But yeah, so wow, this hat is crazy. Let's see. But I want to be able to see you. I don't want to tear it. This hat was like really cheap, and now I know why. It was on like clearance. If I really thought it was cute when I first got it, but it's been floppy like this. Yeah. But anyway, um, uh, yeah, it's just been a life changer for me since discovering, being awakened to being awakened to this reality that I wasn't necessarily on the right plane. I was I was on the wrong plane, right? And the destination wasn't what I thought it was supposed to be either. I was on a plane to nowhere, which most of us were on, and that's unfortunate. It's crazy that millions of people are on the plane to nowhere. You're not going anywhere. You know, you are you're going somewhere. Yes, you're going to the place that everybody goes to. And now, whether there is existence after the body dissipates or dies, goes back to the ground, that's yet to be seen. I don't know. I can't speak on that. It feels as though that that could be could be a possibility that a dimension, part of you, spirit, you as a spirit, right, having a human experience, just moves on to another dimension or a different existence, you know? I don't know. I'm not really looking for that truth. I'm just going with the flow. I'm going with what feels right in my soul, what feels right in my gut. And what doesn't fit and doesn't seem to serve me, I discard, I disregard, I don't embrace it anymore, you know? So getting back to the ego, and how unhealthy that we were, the level of ego that we had as Jehovah's Witnesses, getting back to that, while most of our ego wasn't that pathological in the sense where it was narcissistic, manipulative, conniving, self-assuming, presumptuous, you know, opportunistic. It wasn't any of that. But on the flip side of that, instead of being selfish as Jehovah's Witnesses, we were extremely selfless. And I hate to make being selfless negative, but it's if you being making all these sacrifices to please someone else, and it robs you of your joy. That's for anybody, including God, because God doesn't want you to be sick. He doesn't want you to be, um, he doesn't want you to be depressed or feel confused and this rumbling chaos going on inside of you. He wants you to be at peace. Peace is one of the fruits of God's spirit, of the spirit. So if anything you're doing robs you of that peace, I would say that God did not intend for that to happen. So whatever you're doing that causes you to be depressed and confused and this sense of unrest, he he wants you to change it. And even now, those who have left the organization are still battling with that sense of discomfort and chaos and confusion, right? And guilt and feeling unfulfilled, that all you're doing is living to preach about God's kingdom, basically. That's the ultimate goal. It's to just focus on that. That is abnormal. It's abnormal. And when you think about it, if you're still struggling with that, if you're feeling guilty, if you're still feeling guilty about that, just really think for a minute, especially if you're a parent, based on what you know today. Would you impose that type of pressure on your child, forcing your child to forget about all of their talents, forget about, you know, their desires, live their entire lives to help people, and would you teach them not to have pride, not to nurture their natural born gifts? Would you teach them that? So if we're made in the image of God, right? I believe that God is in us and we are in God. I believe that now. I really do. So if we're made up of what makes up God, basically, all of his attributes and everything. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm struggling with that, but it's helping with the sun. So, but anyway, if you in any kind of way have those powers, those attributes, and you think it's extremely toxic and dangerous and detrimental to your child's health to insist on them being extremely selfless, um, having no boundaries, totally relying on some other person to tell them, including you as a parent, tell them how to live, when to live it. A grown person, I'm saying, you're constantly telling your grown child, this is what you need to do, this is how you're going to do it, this is when you're going to do it. How can that person live in the world? How could they function in the world? They're robots. They're not they're not going to they're not going to flourish. They're not going to do well in society. They're not, because they don't have a backbone. If anybody believes that God, who is love, expects us to be robots when he himself has given us these gifts, then you're going to have to work hard to change that whole mindset, because you're going to always be unhappy. I believe Jehovah's Witnesses, they force themselves to be happy because what they're told, what they're taught, and the dogmas and doctrines that they live according to is very, very oppressive. It's very oppressive. It's unfair. It's not normal. And you'll constantly identify yourself with everybody else. Your identity is everybody else's identity. You don't have a unique identity. As much as they try to teach that, no. If your voice is different, if things that you say is different from how Jehovah's Witnesses normally communicate and how they preach, like if you talk too much about Jesus, yeah, uh, you won't last very long in good standing with the organization if you talk too much about Jesus. That's sad. As Christians, we are not expected to talk too much. I mean, their eyebrows will raise if you say, yes, my Lord Jesus Christ, I am so grateful for my Lord Jesus Christ. You say that as a Jehovah's Witness, and you say it very confidently, like without without any hesitation. They would think you've stepped off the bandwagon and you're on your way to to being ran over. And you will be ran over by the brothers, because someone will come off like they care about you. And so some will have a discussion with you and tell you how they're concerned about you because your vernacular is just a little different from how it used to be as a Jehovah's Witness, right? Because you're talking too much about Jesus instead of Jehovah, right? So you see the hypocrisy, you see the dogmas, you know that it's just not right. You know it's not right. But when you're in the middle of it, you're in the thick of it, you don't see it. Because the veil is so thick and heavy, covering our mind's eye. We can't see, we didn't see how way off we were. And it's just so unfortunate because many of us have family that are still drinking that red stuff. Maybe I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. I really, I, I don't really believe it's red stuff. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that, but y'all know what I mean when I say red stuff. um, if you know anything about that James Jones or Jim Jones situation. But anyway, I'm rambling as always. I'm here at the park alone at a campsite and I'm loving the peace and the nature, just taking it all in. The air seems a lot clearer, it seems more crisp as opposed to the inner city, the urban air. First of all, I'm around trees. Now, there are a lot of trees in Georgia, period, whether you're in the city or not. There's a lot of trees, but there's less there's less people, there's less traffic, you know, and there's less artificial sound, going around. I mean, less of it, less artificial sound and light that distorts what nature should sound like and feel like and look like, right? So it's not much congestion. Even though there's a bunch of trees here, the air is crisp. It's not as dense. It's a difference. And I want to feel like that inside. I remember I remember when I first started doing I was on this raw diet kick, and I guess it was like maybe 85%, 85 to 90% raw, you know. I did stir fry, a couple of times, maybe even a couple of times a week. But for the most part, I ate raw and mainly plant based, not just all, greens and salad, but for the most part, I ate raw. I didn't eat a whole lot of pasta, even though that's like my weakness. But anyway, I remember when I was doing that a few years ago, I did it for like 2 months. And first of all, I lost like 37 pounds, but I really wasn't focusing. I wasn't doing it to lose weight. I needed to lose weight, but I was trying to start this new way of looking at food and ingesting it, right? And I had watched a documentary called What the Health, Health, and Forks Over Knives. Two excellent, excellent documentaries. You can look it up if you haven't seen it. But after I saw those two documentaries, I was just like really on board. I fell off a little bit a couple of years afterwards, but well, not even a couple of years afterwards. I take that back. Um, as far as being totally plant based, I fell off because first of all, I love cheese. I really do. There's a component. There's a property in cheese called casein. Casein, Casien, I think, and that's equivalent in some cases, you know, to like very addictive drug, a particular addictive drug. But I don't want to put it out there. I want you to look it up yourself. But a doctor actually told me that because I told her that I really can't do. I can't really do milk products sort of lactose. There's an ice cream truck. Speaking of, speaking of, how about that? An ice cream truck in the park. All right. I wouldn't mind having a cherry bomb. But anyway, yes. So I got distracted. I digress. I remember being on that diet and feeling like the air feels to me, you know, against my skin. I felt that light inside, that airy inside. It wasn't the weight. It was I just felt alive. I felt it was just light. It was a lightness that is hard for me to describe other than this air that doesn't feel dense and polluted, being surrounded by all these trees. That's the way I felt inside my body. Like it was amazing, and the energy was just like crazy. And so I would like to go back to that. But anyway, yeah. Um, I guess being a Jehovah's Witness, if you tell yourself, if you've made yourself believe, because the conscious, the subconscious, and the unconscious are three different levels of consciousness, right? Um, your conscious is the impressor, right? And the subconscious is the expressor. So the subconscious pretty much expresses what is impressed upon by the conscious. And the unconscious is it's there but you're unaware of it. And a lot of us were operating from the subconscious because the subconscious really doesn't have any power, to be honest with you. It just does what the conscious tells it. So whatever is fed into your mind, into your conscience, it's going to affect the subconscious. And the subconscious is what we present to the world, is what affects our decisions, the subconscious. So whatever you put in your conscience, right? Whatever is fed, subconscious is going to just absorb all of that, and your decisions are going to be based on that, right? Again, the subconscious doesn't have any power. So in order for you to um, do things differently, like like they say, the um, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Well, if you don't change what you are feeding, allowing your mind to be fed, then you're going to insanely keep doing the same things over and over again, and you're never going to get different results. So, as a Jehovah's Witness, we're fed the same thing over and over again, repetitively, like over and over again. That's what's fed into our psyche, fed into our conscious. So, subconscious just, it's like a robot. It just does what it's fed from the conscience. And so they don't know any better. That's why I don't like to be so judgmental towards Jehovah's Witnesses. One, because I still have family that I love and I know they love me. So I don't want to condemn them like Jehovah's Witnesses who learn that we have pretty much walked away from the religion may condemn us because of what they were taught. But two wrongs don't make a right, right? So I feel I feel like soon they will awaken to this new reality and realize that they have to change their entire lives. Literally, you have to change everything. That is traumatic for a lot of people. It really is. It's like a total uprooting everything. And it could be disconcerting, and you're changing your whole way of life. You're changing your paradigm, your perspective when it comes to the world, because we've judged the world. We've condemned the world. We've put ourselves above the world. They're going to die at Armageddon, and we're here to save their lives. We're the saviors, not Jesus. We're the saviors. So that if we didn't go out and preach to them, then guess what? We're blood guilty, right? So we were taught, wow, we were taught to basically act like we're superior to them because we become their saviors, right? By preaching to them, right? But at the same time, we had to dumb down when it came to that. We couldn't think more of ourselves. Matter of fact, we couldn't even trust ourselves. We wanted other people to trust us, but we couldn't trust ourselves. I mean, it's just pure craziness. And that's why you have to change. You have to, okay, the hat has to go. The sun is kind of moving away, so it shouldn't be that bad. But you have to you have to change your way of thinking. You cannot think the same way. You cannot operate in life, in the world, not even in your own life. You cannot operate holding on to any of those beliefs. That's a lot. And because I was stuffing that and just doing me, just doing whatever I wanted to do, like, okay, I don't feel any guilt about preaching and any of that. I'll I still want to help people help. I want to help people help themselves. That's basically what I want to do. I'm not nobody's savior, but I just want to help people help themselves. I want to help people coach themselves to a new life, basically by sharing what I've done, because I'm taking myself through the process. I know this live is turning out to be quite lengthy, but I'm sharing. I have thank goodness the water is still cold. What's inside? That doesn't look good. Oh, I don't know what that was. Looked like it could have been piece of herb or something, but I couldn't tell. Yep, so I have talked long enough. I think I'm going to do some reading, and I need to come up with a business plan. I have an idea. I have to write it out and pursue it. I've been eating a lot of beans, so I feel whew, just a tad bit bloated. So, if you've hung out with me this long, I appreciate you. I really, really do. Thank you so much for listening to me rant. All right? You all, please, whatever you do, try to do something that you want to do. Try to do something that you love, right? Or just simply love on somebody that you know you love, right? Starting with yourself. Love on yourself. Um, and then after you do that, then share that love with someone else. Spread love, spread light, spread healing, because we all need it in one way or another. We really do. And that's what I'm all about. Just spreading love, light, and healing. And I have a strong sense that this is my purpose. Peace. Y'all have a good day. Love you. Namaste.